Do you want to know what are the essential tips for crochet amigurumi? Well, in today's video, we're about to answer that question. Hey guys, so our first essential that we need to create crochet amigurumi is gonna be yarn. Now yarn is gonna vary by person. It all depends on what you select, but typically I'll suggest a level 4 yarn with a light color. Like for example, something like this or a little bit lighter. That way you can actually see the stitches. With the level 4 yarn, you're looking around a 5mm hook, 5.5. In this case, on this yarn, it tells you right here, indicates that it's a level 3 and it takes a 4mm hook. Guys, so hooks are going to be the ones that are going to be helping you create things with a yarn. So this right here is going to be your best friend. They all vary from materials to sizes. So for example, I got these right here, I got these, and they just correspond to according to the yarn that you have. And it can go from very big hook to a very small hook, just as you see above. It varies and depending on what kind of craftsmanship you're looking to complete, and it all goes down on you, and you will progress as you keep on going. Alright guys, so the next item up on our list is gonna be, you guessed it, scissors. Now scissors gonna vary. Of course, there's gonna be a whole bunch of preferences by person, but for my experience, I believe by having one normal pair of scissors followed by a pointy pair is essential. A pointy pair helps you out pretty much when you have tight spots that you want to cut through, and scissors in general, like this one right here, is good overall. But if you can't get pointy, just get regular scissors. As long as you can cut, you should be fine. Alright guys, so once you have almost completed almost every single project, you cannot go any further without having an actual needle. The needles also, just like scissors, they vary on sizes, and just like the hooks, actually everything varies. But depending on your type of yarn that you're using, you'll follow the needle by its thickness. If it's like really thin, then you actually are gonna want to go with a thinner needle. So like in this case right here, I got two of them. One is curvy and the other one is not. Now I use the curvy one to make certain details, and when I sew in certain things, and I also use this one too when I'm keeping it simple. So I use both of them a lot. So these are the ones that you want, and typically when you get them, they normally come in like in a pack of maybe 3 to 6, depends on the pack, and it varies with the with every entry. So these right here, it varies. So it's not like you get a whole bunch of them in the same spectrum. It's different. So go ahead and pick one of these up and add them, because they are essential and you need them in order to complete your projects. Alright guys, so another great material that comes up into our list are pins. Now these pins right here, they're really helpful, especially when you want to place a certain piece of your amigurumi and place and then sew from there. So as you can see, like you'll place them as where they're supposed to go, where you feel comfortable and you like, and then as you're sewing in, like you can remove the pins, and it just allows you to have more of an accurate sewing to where you want your pieces to be at. Alright guys, so we all know that when we make our projects, especially when it comes from scratch, that we're gonna remember, and sometimes you might remember the next day, but down the line it starts to get a little bit fuzzy. So having something to actually write on is essential. That way you can just come back with ease and not have to worry about what it was. If you have a certain question about it, it's okay, because you can clear it up yourself, since you're the one who wrote it yourself. So having a good notebook to write your steps in is, in my opinion, essential. Another tip, guys, to have around when you're making your actual items, your crochet amigurumi items, is to have a measuring tape. Now measuring tape can be very useful, especially if you want a certain project to be a certain height or a certain dimension that that is necessary to have, that you have in mind to accomplish. Then yeah, measurements is really good to have. It's really helpful, and I use this a lot on a daily basis when making my items. Alright guys, so the next thing is gonna be an actual stand. Now a stand is really good for when you have your projects like on hand and you're actually working on them, so that way you won't actually have to be putting them back or like maybe losing the pieces that you have already made. This is a really good stand that helps you out and holds them for you. So it comes out really handy, and I use these a lot, especially when I'm making something and I'm making a different piece. I set it up that way I can envision what I'm actually doing. So it's a really good handy tool to have that I use on a daily basis. And you know, it's right here is the components. So this is another item that I use a lot for my crochet amigurumi.